Hey guys, welcome. Arica Angelo. I'm the host and relationship expert on Love Without Borders. But if you're one of my subscribers, you're like, no, you're not. You're Arica Angelo, and you give us advice here on YouTube. Yes, but I also have a TV show now. So I'm going to give you my opinion, my feedback on what I think the cast, the people who are in the show, what they are, the mistakes that I already see that they're making. So, little bit of backstory. The reality is this: when I'm working with each one of the singles and I'm sending them off to a different country, I'm not there 24/7 looking in through a window, examining everything that they do, right? Like they have to go on the journey themselves. Later on, as you'll see in the show, I get to give them guidance. But so everything that you guys are seeing on television right now, we're coming with episode 5 is coming out tonight. I'm filming this before. But everything that you guys see in real time is exactly what I am getting to see as well. And so you can't imagine how difficult it is. I've been giving dating and relationship advice for 14 years now. Next year will be 15 years. Also, if you're new here, make sure that you subscribe because chances are you're making some of these mistakes too. And it's easy to watch people on TV and criticize them. But if we were to put a microscope to your dating and relationships, chances are you would be making some of these mistakes too. So I want you to not only watch and observe, but also learn from their mistakes. So as you can imagine, I'm watching this and I'm like, why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? You said you wanted love. Why are you doing this? I don't understand. So I spoke with the team and I was like, is it okay if I make this video? They said it was okay. So here we go. I'm going to tell you what I think they're doing wrong and also walk the fine line of not giving you any spoilers of what's to come. This is just real time, what I'm seeing. If I were watching through their window and observing everything, this is the advice I would have given them in real time. Now, mind you, I'm not living at their house. I can't see how everything's playing out. And the reality is I can only go based off of what people say to me. You know, that's a whole nother story. But let's get started here. So I'm going to start with the guys first, and then we will go into the women in another one because there's 10 people in this show. So I cannot cover all 10 of them right away. So first person I'm going to cover is Shreyas. Shreyas is in Dubai. People are calling him on Twitter the Fabio of Dubai. And there was one other thing they called him. I can't remember the other thing, but and Jason Momoa, what's the guy's name? The big guy. They're calling him the Jason Momoa of Dubai as well. So he's getting some really good feedback and good love on Twitter. And Shreyas is a sweetheart. I absolutely adore Shreyas. But what is Shreyas doing wrong? If I were there and I was there hands-on, living in the background, watching everything, what would I have advised him to do? I see that Shreyas is doing what a typical nice guy would do, which is, and I've got tons of videos on YouTube about the nice guy. What I see Shreyas doing is being way too over accommodating and trying to make everything nice and okay for Gurleen. It sounds sweet on paper, but at the end of the day, I'm matching these people for love, not just to be sweet to one another and be great roommates. That's a great place to start, but it is not the end all be all. And this is where a lot of people get friend zoned. At the end of the day, you have to be very honest and upfront about your intentions. So what he should have done is he should have said to Gurleen, like, I think that you are absolutely stunning. Maybe gone in for a double kiss on the cheek, and really just gotten to know Gurleen on a more intimate, connected level. Now, mind you, they're getting sidetracked because he does live with the family. And so Gurlane puts her foot down and says, I want to get our own place. Rightly so, but there has to be those connections that create intimacy, that create connection. But when you keep things at a surface level, you're playing it safe. And I see a lot of people do this where they just want to make the person feel comfortable. They just want to play safe, but they're not pushing the envelope to create that intimate connection by asking intimate questions like, I think that you're absolutely beautiful. Calling it for what it is, like, I'm curious, do you find me attractive? I find you really attractive. Like, getting on the same page when it comes to intimacy and connection. I think that a lot of people stay in the nice friend zone because one, they're afraid of getting rejected. And two, people are conditioned to just be nice. But at the end of the day, with nice people, the reality is this: when you're with a nice person, you will go back to your friends and you'll say these exact words. Pay attention. You will say this: I just didn't feel any chemistry with them. Chemistry is not always something that is just there. Sometimes it's very intentional to create. And so what I see Shreyas doing wrong is not being very intentional about creating that chemistry and connection. He's being super accommodating, but she didn't move there to find a roommate. She moved there for love, as did all these people. So that would have been, if I had seen what Trace is doing, I'm like, whoa, okay, I get it that you're sweet. I get that you're accommodating. That's a great start, but that's not the end all be all. It's to build intimacy. It's to build connection. So the next of the guys I want to talk about is Brian. Brian is our farmer in Ireland. And right now, Brian is being very sweet. He's brought Dana coffee in bed. Super, super, super charming. But one thing that I can see about Brian is there's a bit of reservation in his laugh, in the way that he's communicating. It's like, I'm not so sure about this, which rightly so. They're just meeting. Of course, he's not going to be fully sure about anything. This is my advice to him. When you're not so sure about a person, don't come on too strong in the beginning. Why? Because this can be considered love bombing, which is you're giving tons and tons of chemistry. He's almost doing the opposite of Shreyas, but to the extreme where it's too much too soon. And he doesn't seem as confident with the nervous laughter that he keeps doing. So I would say to him, like, yes, you're doing great with creating that chemistry, but don't overdo it, because what you're doing is you're building too much chemistry and you don't even know if the two of you are compatible yet. And I see a lot of singles do this wrong, which is they lead with all chemistry and they don't have compatibility. That's why it's so important to have conversations to build connection. It's not just something that's always inherently there. We have to learn how to build connection through our conversation, which is asking really honest, direct questions, which most people are afraid to do. Now, listen, if you are finding yourself in either of these scenarios, go to my website, aricaangelo.com, and I've got resources that will support you. And also subscribe, because there's tons of videos here to help you with that. All right, my next guy, Phil. Phil, we sent to Ghana, Africa. Phil, I adore Phil. Phil is just a bubble of life and energy, and I had so much fun with Phil, and we had so much heart to heart behind the scenes that didn't make it to camera. You guys didn't see that, but Phil is just zesty and full of life, and I love and adore this about him. What I saw that Phil did wrong was they were in the pool, there was a scene, and there was that honest chemistry there. Now, the two of them are asking a lot of questions, which I like about him and Carmen. They're asking some really good questions between one another, and I think that that's really good. But one thing is, sometimes you have to seize the moment. And there was a beautiful moment between the two of them in the pool where Phil could have just kissed Carmen. And you hear Carmen saying, I'm like, why didn't he kiss me? Like, why isn't he like making the moves? At the end of the day, despite how we become more and more strong as women, we still want our man to take the lead. We still want him to initiate. And what Phil could have done was he could have been more of a leader, and he saw that there was chemistry there, and he should have led with that by kissing. There was an open door, there was an invitation. They were talking very intimately. You're not going to know if it's there unless you take some actionable steps that require courage. So in that moment, he should have just kissed her. It doesn't mean that they're going to be together forever. You don't know, but first you have to see. And I think oftentimes when there is that magical moment and we don't take advantage of it, what we end up doing is creating friction and frustration. That's not always necessary. So I think he could have taken the lead and he could have followed through and given her a kiss in that scenario. Okay, let's go to our couple in Patty, Aaron. Aaron is very much, and we talked about this behind this, well, not behind the scenes, it was on camera, it didn't make it to the show, but about Aaron being in his head a lot. And that is something that I already see. Aaron is very much over analyzing things. He's aware of that as well. But I think that when we start getting in our heads, like that shoots everything down of any possible connection and chemistry. And so I love how honest Aaron is about being a bit anxious about the scenario, about living in such tight quarters. I love that. But I already see, like, in that moment, it's realigning yourself and going, why am I here? I'm here to not just see Paris, but I'm here to find the love of my life. And a lot of times we get in our own way. And so in this moment, I see Aaron getting in his own way, where he has to pull himself aside and have that conversation of, why am I here? And then getting back into the group and creating that intimacy between him and Mayel. And the last guy that we see is Naeem. Naeem is one of those guys. He's a big teddy bear. He's so positive, but we see the scenario with his mom playing out, and mom is not happy with him. And so one thing that we see is his kind of struggle and trying to be true to himself, but also making his mom happy. And that is not a winning ticket when you're trying to find love for yourself. You know, he quotes a lot about the Bible, and the Bible says that a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife. And so there's a lot of cleaving to mom. And so I see that as a bit of a, oh, be careful with that, because that she can go find her a husband. That's not your role. Your role is to be a son and to reclaim yourself and to find life on your own terms. So you see him going on that journey, but you see him, that really affects him. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. One thing I do see is, which I was really proud of him for, is he meets Chandra and they're in Panama. And so Chandra is, you can already tell off the get-go, she's fiery, which I have some feedback for that. I can do that in another video. But Naeem, for the moment, they're sitting out on the patio and he's holding his own, like, why do you have me sitting in this little bitty tiny spot? And I think Chandra's already showing herself to be very strong. And I think him being strong in that moment, like, you need to call things out. You need to be playful. You need to be direct with the person. So had I been a fly on the wall, like, I'm watching this, and like I said, I see this scene with Phil and Carmen in the pool, and I'm like, damn it, why didn't he kiss her? Why are you not kissing her? What are you thinking? Why did you not kiss her? And then with Shreyas, I'm watching him, and he's just like, in Texas, we would say him hawing around with Gerline, and like, I'm trying to make her feel comfortable. I'm like, you're not there to be a roommate. You need to go in and start building some connection with this woman. What are you doing, my man? And then Aaron, I just want to go and shake him and go, get out of your head. Get out of your head. That's what's kept you where you are right now. Get out of your freaking head. So yes, I'm watching this in real time with you guys and thinking, oh my gosh, had I been there, if I'd seen what was going on, this is exactly what I would have said to them in those moments. So I want to say to you guys watching this, I've seen a lot of comments on Twitter, a lot of people with lots of opinions on Twitter, but I'm going to call you out and say, let's put your relationship under a microscope and see how well you do when you have to move to another country and move into someone foreign. It's very easy to judge someone else's life, but look at what you're currently doing in your life and ask yourself, is this working for me? And if it's not, go to my website, aricaangelo.com, and start doing things differently. So guys, in the comment section, I'm curious to hear, were there some other pointers that you would have given our cast? Let me know in the comment section below. I cannot wait to watch the next episode. I can't wait to see what we see next, because let me tell you, every single one of them is an adventure coming. So I can't say anymore, but stay tuned. Listen, if you are single or you're in a challenging relationship, know this, that at the end of the day, that you are loved and that you matter, that your desires matter. Don't give up on yourself and don't give up on love. I'll see you in my next video. Be sure to subscribe.